From Scott to Dot, here we are back at the caster desk. Thanks a lot, my friend, Mr. Scotty. We got one game in the books. On to the game number 2. If you guys are just joining us, Fnatic took that one in spades with a very explosive ending.
They've just been playing lights out. You saw the Athena taunts, you saw Maniac going off, and then Reel's just playing out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, Reel's really being a pillar of this team. As we said, all the teammates really know what they're supposed to be doing, and they communicate when there's an audible to be thrown.
For me, on the Fnatic lineup there, Badger was the unsung hero.
Okay.
His taunts were on point, and his taunts that when we listen to the voice comes of Trig, and you look at how the game was going, and it was still pretty even. But those taunts onto Funballer, that just as he was dashing, made that whole fight unfold, where Zerlia gets 2 levels behind because of it as well, and then it goes on from there as well. So, Badger, the unsung hero.
The feeling when you hit those Athena taunts and you catch hunters in their dash.
Yeah.
It's right here. I know that feeling, and it's a good one.
It's definitely tough, especially we talked about the Shibalanki dash, about how it's the beginning of it isn't CC immune, and then once that window's closed, it's over because he's golden, he's CC immune, so that window is very small, and seeing Badger really nail that really worked out. And you know, the CDR build from Lobster on Poseidon didn't work out, but I started to see why the thought process was there. I think Jeff mentioned it the first time, the knockup, if you hit the Kraken in the middle, it gives a knockup. It's just another thing for Wheelix to use.
But it was also like the multiple uses that this build is going to give him, because he already had more magical damage on the team. Generally, you get a support and a mid laner, and that's your whole magical team. But having that solo lane guardian, which is all about the actual damage, which we went to, means that you can go a little bit more utility.
I like the concept. I love it on paper, and it just didn't work out this game.
Yeah, I think it could work out in the future. We've seen that sort of support mage mindset really work out. Most notably, yesterday, AFK Gaming's Kiki So Cheeky was playing a support Zhang Kui.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes it doesn't always, you know, the thought process is I'm a mid mage, I'm here to do damage, I'm here to control mid harpies, but sometimes it doesn't always go that way. You've got to adjust on the fly. And all in all, I think that the adjustment from there, understanding where you're at, shows a smarter presence than if you just build straight damage, even despite the fact being behind.
I think taking out of this game, honestly, overall, going into game 2 as we're going to pick some balances, that Trig's first game here, even though they lost, was a lot better, I feel, than the games yesterday. So if they can just clean up a few little areas that they had issues with in that last game, they could come back at Fnatic this time round.
That first ban, Jeff.
I love it. Athena is so hard to play against. She really is. Do
you like banning it so you don't have to play it?
No, I love playing Athena.
Oh, you love playing Athena?
Yeah, okay. These days.
Now I do. Yeah, I used to never.
Back when I first started watching Smite, I started watching Jeff, and he would fight viewers.
Yeah.
He did not want to play
Athena. Play Athena. Play Athena. No one's gonna follow up.
Well, this time round though, we're going to see Trig with the first pick option this time round. That's why you can see the banter ever so slightly changed around. Hercules and Sylvanas taken away from both focus on Trix. Keep Trix down. Trix is a big lifeline for the team of Trig. But what it does leave up is Serqet, and Kivo Serqet, very good.
Yeah, Kivo Fred, definitely a very strong player with that Serqet. You know, this Serqet pick is so that Fnatic doesn't pick it, and it's interesting to me because I honestly think that Kivo's Wheelix is his best god.
I think Wheelix is a great god, and Kivo played it great that game.
He did.
But imagine if he was 5-0-3 or 6-0 with the Serqet last game.
Very true.
That's a really good point.
Very true. And Fnatic doesn't play a Wheelix. Captain Twig has never played a Wheelix in the SPL. Really leans towards the Thor, despite 0-7-2 last night.
Who else has played a Wheelix? That's the question.
Kivo Fred.
And that's the point going into the rest of the next split, that we're going to see a lot more people going, hang on a minute, this god is working. We need to practice it. It's going to be like when Serqet first was released in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
When nobody played it, and then everyone went, holy damn! Why don't we play this every game?
It's because the skill ceiling on those two characters are so high. If you want to be a good Serqet, really, because Deathbane is a great escape, but you want to use it offensively, you want to get the 3 hits, you want to have the Deathbringer out, you want to be able to nail your Cobra's Kiss. It's very difficult to do, so it took a while for players to really get to the point where they can play it consistently, and that's what we're going to see with the Wheelix.
Well, going into this game here, no Wheelix just yet. Rama and Geb picked up by the boys of Fnatic. This early Geb pickup, this isn't EU style, really. And what this does is it allows Trix a bit of freedom in the role. And because obviously they just banned away Sylvanas and Hercules, but he can play other warriors in the role. Guan Yu's on the table. Ares, again, is very good against Geb. Also very good against Rama in lane 2.
Overall, with the drops of 3 supports right now. I do like the Geb because Geb Rom is a very solid lane. It's not they're not going to lose very hard, but they're not going to destroy.
But would you
either.
go Bacchus against it as well? Like Bacchus is very good against Geb.
Bacchus is great against
That,
Geb.
and that's why I'm kind of concerned that they're trying to look to take things away from Tricks of comfort picks. But his Bacchus, they need to think about that because they could run something more aggressive. Maybe Xbalanque Bacchus in lane. Bacchus and her.
Bacchus on his level 5 is really good.
That's how you kill people.
Yes.
It's very dangerous. You know, there should be an age limit on it. I really like this Thor pick from Fnatic, and I'll tell you exactly why. Sure, Thor's a good character, blah, blah,
You
blah.
do?
Yes.
Twig went 0-7 or 0-8 yesterday. I'm just
That's why I like it. That's exactly why I like it. Thank you. Because the Thor pick, you know, it shows, and we were talking about this earlier, Captain Twig is, and Jeff, you brought up a good point about how all players have to be able to have that quarterback mentality of, we lost last night, oh well, tomorrow's a new game. Otherwise, you just won't last for a long time in the SPL. We've seen some players come in and out of the SPL because of that reason. I love seeing the fact that Twig had one of his worst games, not even just on this character, overall, by playing this Thor, and he comes back tomorrow in a series-deciding game. I'm going to play Thor.
I love it as well. Sometimes picks don't work. Sometimes you have bad games.
against
and
Serqet as well. He's doing the rinse repeat, the
Yep.
same jungle matchup again.
that's okay.
I love it.
Let's hope it works out for
If
him.
you're confident in it, okay, it happened.
Well,
Very interesting situation for Fnatic. I expect to see the Vulcan go for zeros because we've talked a lot about it. We've harped on it. Zeros, new to the mid lane, has a rough time when he's not playing Janus or Vulcan. And I love that Trig picked up the Janus because of how powerful he is on that character.
But they've also picked up, Fnatic across the way have picked up Sobek here. That's going to be solo Beck, and they've already picked the Nemesis. Now, we saw this matchup. Actually, the one time we saw it was in the All-Star match. It was Nemesis versus a Sobek lane.
Right.
Yes.
And in that matchup, Zalia went a crazy, unstoppable situation there. But coming down to the last 2 picks for Trig, and F-Dot, you can't see him on screen now, he's very excited for this because his Bay is online.
Freya is one of my favorite characters in the game. If there's no Bologna on the field, Freya can be one of the most potent characters in the entire cast. And this is actually very interesting. Funball absolutely loves this pick. Yesterday, the matchup between Trig and AFK was really exciting, and what I expected to see didn't happen. Both Allied and Funball love Freya. Freya has been picked 3 times by Funball and has won every single match, and largely has to do with the way Funball plays. He goes in and throws everything on the table. Look to see Funball use the 1-2 combo and then immediately go for the kill with the ultimate. Would not be surprised if he does it.
The other thing, though, there was 2 other picks there that we didn't touch on. Guan Yu was
Guan.
picked up in the support role, but more importantly, Zeros is going to be playing Aphrodite in the mid lane this game because they've picked solo back. They were talking a little bit about it yesterday, about he was considering running this yesterday. He's chosen to run Afro mid this game. Have you experienced this at all, Jeff?
A very long time ago, maybe a year ago. We don't see it a lot in NA at all.
I mean, we touched on it. I think we did it at Worlds as well. Captain Twig ran it at Worlds as well, didn't he, for
Yeah.
one game as well? So it's been messed around with a little bit on
Little.
EU. Not really, like, been there permanently, so to speak. But it's going to be an interesting matchup to see how Afro plays off against Janus. I mean, their wave clear in the early game, pretty similar, I feel, overall. But the Aphrodite going to be up against the Serqet. I'm not sure in this mid lane. It's going to be a bit rough.
Yeah, I mean, a good Aphrodite won't have 25 deaths like DM Brandon. But a good Aphrodite
Any
will be able to
Aphrodite,
use...
not just a good one, any Aphrodite will have 25 deaths like DM.
Well, a good Aphrodite will be able to use back off and the birds to really prevent ganks when the ultimate's down. So
The issue is, though, is that Janus can portal the ground, and that allows the Serqet to follow up, so Aphrodite
Right.
can't get that combo off. It's a really rough one, I feel.
it's basically Aphrodite's a character that has no real escape, but she has things that can facilitate her escape.
That's right.
So analyzing this character and how safe, quote unquote, she is in the mid lane is so difficult.
So Afro is relatively safe. Her weak point is obviously her early game, but
Oh, yeah.
when Afro gets heavenly agility online, beads and Aegis,
Doom Orb?
Doom Orb, and she gets big, it is almost
I
impossible
don't
to
know.
take her out.
I can't agree with the Doom Orb
No
call,
Doom
man.
Orb?
Like, because if you early game, you're weak. You
Yeah.
game,
Exactly.
you build
Yep.
Doom Orb, you're
Yep.
gonna get focused anyway. You're gonna get focused more if you got the Doom Orb going. Like, jeez.
Very, very true, and especially we keep harping on this fact, and maybe we'll stop at some point, saying that Zeros is very proficient at those two mages in particular. You know, knowing that as Trig, this is a new character to see Zeros on, maybe they'll zero in on him, no pun intended.
Well, go back to the dual lane here, Jeff, as well, because you know most about dual lane. You play it day in, day out. You won the World Championships based off your dual lane play. Guan Yu Freya up against this, you know, standard composition of Geb Rama. Which way is it going to go?
I actually want to talk about this a little bit. I love the Guan Freya pick, especially against Geb. Guan does fantastic against Geb.
That's it. That's what we're going to see
Whoops,
every single time.
dashes, Talu's. Talu doesn't. Talu can't be knocked up.
Nope.
And then he groups up the minions. Freya hits everything with her 2. That's the clear. And Geb and Rama are going to have a rough time.
And Geb's going to have to deal with the Tallow Assault protection shreds, the physical damage in this lane is going to be a lot. Plus, he's going to have to deal with the magical damage as well. What's he going to build? Is he going to rush Sovereignty this game, or do you look for Amulet, though? He's going to have 2 mages to deal with.
It's so hard to build when you have against the Freya. You're okay with her early, but there comes a point where you just can't build against the Freya anymore.
Yep, Freya just so potent, and that's why she remains one of my favorite characters. People say that Ao Kuang really replaced her. I don't agree. I think they serve similar roles, but a little bit different. You'll never see Ao Kuang in the dual lane.
Thank you. Don't do that.
And you know, I love the Freya Guan matchup or pairing, because the original was Freya Wukong.
Yes, it was. And Warriors and Freya go great. Freya's clear isn't fantastic for a hunter. Warriors clear is fantastic in the duo, and that's why you saw them paired like that, and that's why you're seeing them paired like this.
I mean, one thing to note as well is that these two actually talking about this at dinner last night about Freya, and Football was like, oh, why don't you run Freya? And Reels was like, I don't know, man, he just doesn't win that many, she doesn't win that many matchups, I don't like her early game that much. And Football was like, no, she's really good. So listen to 2 hunters like argue over a god, it's always fun to listen to.
Well, it's very, very different. Pause that. Look at where the mouse is. Geb has no hog.
There's a reason it's hovering.
What did he start with?
He literally just started potions and the Watcher's Gift. I don't see anything different in his kit at all.
Badger.
Is he...
He's just holding. He's holding.
He's gonna go back to pick it up right now.
No, he's gonna rush something. He's gonna rush something if he's held hog for no reason, unless he's made a mistake.
No.
Oh my God!
That's just a hard mistake.
Badger play.
So realistically, it does happen. It happens to people online. Sometimes you forget hog. It happens to me a lot in scrims, and it does happen online. You see he picked up hog here. If he was going to pick it up, it's because he forgot to, I think.
Yeah, it just has to be a hard mistake, and you know, nobody is impervious to mistakes, so they're going to go ahead and roll that one out. Interesting fight over here for the mid Harpies. They had the numbers. Fnatic had the numbers, but they did not want to fight 1-on-2.
I like this call from Trig to just, for Fnatic to just give up these Harpies here. I don't like their composition in the early game. After a week, like we said earlier on, Serqet very potent once she's hit 5 as well. Thor can make something happen, but with Badger base in there because he forgot the hog as well and not level 5 yet, the level 5 fight is not very good for Geb either.
Very, very, very true. You know, going back to the Hunter talk, we're going to see a back in the mid lane from Aphrodite. Funball and Reels are also mentally very different players. Reels is a very traditional hunter. He wants to play his on-hers. Ram was really one of the few newer hunters that he really grabbed onto, and I think it's because of something you said. You'll never be able to run away from a Ram.
If your team is winning and you have a Ram, he goes up in the air, 1, 2, 3. That ends up with at least 1 kill every time, sometimes 2. You can't leave that distance from Ram.
And defensively as well with a Rama as well. It's almost 12 seconds that he's buying himself to get the team in position to support him. He's got so much escape because of it. That's why, matchup-wise, he doesn't really have a full negative on Anher to an extent in the early game, but other than that, not really.
See, the thought process here, as I was talking about, Reels is a very old-school traditional hunter. He wants to do jump in 180 impales with Anher. He really likes to be flashy. That's from the man himself. He likes to make flashy plays. In fact, a lot of times, we actually saw it yesterday, he'll miss Ram ults because he wants to hit them 1, 2, 3 very, very fast. And he said that, yes, I will go for the cool highlight play and miss because I'm trying to look cool. That's from the horse's mouth. Whereas Funball on the other side, he wants to be the special snowflake.
Well,
he likes Kronos, etc., but hold that thought.
He's going to go in and dunk down under the tower, looking for this first blood kill onto Zayli on this Nemesis. Picks him up nicely for 5 minutes in. This was a very delayed first gang, but the comeback is here. Cuvo's online.
Will he be able to get it? The tail whip is going to be good enough. That is how you send a message. Uh-oh. That's it.
That's how you send the message. That's how you send that message.
That's how you send the response message, but that's how you send the message. I went 0-7-2 on this character against this character yesterday. I got first blood in the same situation.
Something I want to talk about that I loved what Twig did. He threw the hammer, then he stunned, then he used his 3.
Oh, yeah.
And he comboed that perfectly, and I don't see a lot of Thors doing that.
That is the perfect Thor combo. The ult stun is long enough to get the first hit, and then you use Tectonic Rift to guarantee the second hit into the Berserker's Barrage. That is how you're supposed to play Thor, and as you said, in the heat of the moment, it's not always that easy.
Well, based off that engagement, they did look to try and steal away the blue buff from Maniac here, but he did get back in time to soak that one up himself, saved his own blue buff, which is very important for the most part there. 1-1 on the scoreboard, a slight lead, though, in favor, I believe, of Fnatic, based off that first blood.
I'm thinking right now, a lot of people, so Zelia vaguely resembles Loki from the Marvel movies.
Is Loki.
Okay, and people talk about him. He's a very cheeky person, both in and out of game, right? Here's something, let's entertain this thought. There's no way this is true, but let's entertain this thought. One of the first solo Becks was Zelia. Zelia introduced the Guardian solo lane meta. After a couple of weeks of the Guardian solo lane meta, his entire player history was Nemesis. Nemesis is the direct counter to Guardians. Did he plan this from the beginning? Part of me wants to say yes.
Maybe
If that's the case, that
weeks of preparation.
I like Zelia. I don't think he's that smart, though. I'm just going to be straight up and say, like, no one thinks that far ahead. The only one I could ever give that to would be Game Hunter, and that's like
that's
really
single-handedly shifting the meta, right?
Yep.
You make everybody play something so that you, because he's the only one that can really pull. When Nemesis was introduced, she was called a warrior, and maybe we'll put her in the solo lane, and everybody tried and everybody failed. Zelia didn't.
People have tried with Nemesis multiple times, and everyone says it exists, but it doesn't really do much. It's like a weaker version of, talk about Loki, in that lane. Generally, you give up the wave, you just decoy away and try and survive. Nemesis doesn't have that decoy for farm. She has to get into those creeps, and because that, you lose early.
Watch out. Here comes the defense from the red team, but on the other side, Maniac gets the best of Zelia, despite being the counter that we were talking about so much. Captain Twig takes a lot of damage, hammers that. Will he be able to ult? He does. The dot from Serqet not quite there yet, and Captain Twig gonna get out clean and clear.
He does manage to get out an engagement. That pickup for Maniac is huge, though, because Maniac, left-hand side, the engagement coming out, Cataclysm, Shockwave, but on the backside, Trix tank is here, Talawesol shredding away into the whoop. Now the damage is on. Reels is the one in trouble here, and this is all about buying time.
He hits 2, he misses the 3rd. Up on the horse is the Guan Yu. Lobster rotates from the mid lane to get the Hunter. Reels is gonna sit down for about, well, 20 seconds. That's not so long, but it's the beginning of something bad. So Reels has to make up for that.
I love what happened here. So you saw Trig's dual lane get pressured, and most people were like, okay, we're done, we're backing off. But they saw an opportunity, they seized it, and they got a kill for themselves.
But it looked like very good communications between the two as well, because Talawesol had literally just ended, then the banish came out, then the follow-up damage from the fall. Reels panics there because he's going to take the full damage from the pulse. So he takes to the sky, and what's waiting for him when he lands? Trixank's like, don't worry, boys, I've got my horsey.
Out comes that Guan Yu ultimate, and Lobster, the timely rotation right there. You mentioned communication. That's 100% what that kill was. If these players did not have the communication, that kill just frankly wouldn't have happened. And you know, the turnaround that you talked about, that's all Freya, baby. The amount that she can chunk out with the Pulse Irradiate combo, all of a sudden, that's what happens. All of a sudden, you're 40% HP.
Going back to the solo lane kill, though, for Maniac as well. Maniac did pick up Zelia 1v1 in that scenario. And that's a big pickup for Maniac, in my opinion, because since Worlds, people didn't really rate him anymore because he had a bad game against Devios, and he kind of fell off. People thought he fell off, and he wasn't as good as what was talked about in EU. And then the name Zelia was ringing through the screens for the rest of Europe's life, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And so Maniac's been this back burner that's been consistent. He had one bad matchup at Worlds, fine, granted. But then to defeat in a 1v1, Maniac, so to defeat Zelia in a 1v1 will give him a good boost and be like, I am good enough.
And Maniac is a player. You want to talk about mental players? Maniac is a guy where that one kill on his character, the math is almost irrelevant because Maniac will punch his monitor and just Hulk out. I mean, you guys, that video, You see him Hulk out.
Yep.
That's just who Maniac is.
He's one of just the excitable players where he gets very emotional, very aggressive in it. He's not an aggressive person at all in real life. He's such a nice guy, but when you see him on the stream, like, oh, calm down. But dual side right now, that knock-up was not good, so that knockback was not good.
Not at all. You know, Funball has been very quick on the beads. What I really liked was in that last engagement, he heard it was all about the audible. Well, the audio cues. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. The audio cues. He heard the blink and immediately hit beads because he knows the Cataclysm's following it up. That's why he didn't die, and they were allowed to turn that around.
That's such an important part of Smite, is knowing sound cues, understanding what means what and what sounds correlate with what abilities. And you get beads, you can counter blink off of other supports initiates, and
talk about sound as well, like you were saying, like you can sometimes, if you listen carefully, you can hear things over the wall as well. So you can hear the audibility and go, Loki's nearby. You know, that's the simplest one because everyone remembers the sound of a Loki stealthing.
he's doing red buff. They're at back Harpies. Their junglers here. You guys are okay. Very important.
Cubo Fred just going to go farm up a little bit. 11 minutes into this contest, 2-2 are the kills. Very, very close game right here. Teams are separated by about 100 gold, which is absolutely nothing. This is game 2. Fnatic has won. It's the best of 3. Fnatic takes this game. They take the series. If TRIG wins it, they bring it to the 3rd game. So both teams definitely playing their hearts out for that 3rd place prize.
Now, Jeff, we spoke about this last time as well in the first game about who do you feel comfortable with in the late game. Now, between these two teams, as you look at them on paper, I personally am siding to the side of TRIG, but when you look back at Fnatic, they're not out of it either.
This is true. The Afro is going to be horrifying.
Yes.
She hasn't died at all. And Ram, also horrifying. But again, you have Serqet, you have Nemesis, you have Freya, you have Janus, all of them. I think I get the league into TRIG here.
Yeah, I give it to TRIG almost exclusively on the backs of Freya and Cubo Fred. Freya just becomes an absolute monster, just so much damage. And once that ultimate starts hitting for 300-400 a tick, it becomes a nightmare.
But if Zeros can link to Reels in the late game and the peel is good enough for them, they could just keep Reels as this, like, mowing a hot knife through butter, as he said yesterday. I'm going through him like a knife through butter. If he could do that again, I know I give him a
Is that an Englishman doing an Englishman's accent?
Yeah, but I gave him a northern accent instead of a southern accent where he's from. I can't really do southern.
I mean,
like
it just sounds like
pears.
you're trying to fake your own accent.
Is that what it sounded
gave him
like
a
to you?
one.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it wasn't my own accent. The Europeans amongst us will know the difference between the two.
If you say so, if you say so.
It's like it was like me, dude. Like you doing a Texan accent. That's
Like from
legitimately
down
the difference.
south.
See, and that
Gonna
sounds the same to me.
eat some ribs.
That still sounds like you're from New
Eat
York.
some ribs and look at the Gold Fury like TRIG Esports are doing, but instead, they're going to go ahead and take a look at the mids.
They do take the mids down as well. Gold Fury still stands in this one for the time being as well. I think this Gold Fury fight, once again, is going to be important. I mean, last time round, TRIG were very excited when they were like, yay! You actually heard TRIG scream because he actually got a hog off for the first time this tournament. Shout out to Incon for his amazing play and stopping any of them coming out. But this one, though, TRIG did get the first Gold Fury last time. The Gold Fury is a little bit delayed this time round, though.
This could be bad for Maniac. No, never mind. Charge Prey.
Maybe he's trying to juke around too much here. Now he's going to have to use Lurking in the Waters if there's a rotation coming in. Yes, there is. Twig online. The burst is good. And the Lurking in the Waters was the explosive damage they were looking for.
That tricked me. Hold that thought. Here comes Serqet. Will she be able to land the taunt? Does out of the trip, but it's all good. That tricked me, and Maniac is so good at that. Ultimate coming out. It's not going to be enough to kill Captain Twig. Notice, smart enough. No heal.
That is so important. People don't understand that Serqet doesn't let you heal, and to hold that.
Going again under the tower. Undying Love was used there onto Twig. The double tap though will be enough after the water pickups. Earlier, Maniac back in the action, looking for the charge, but he forces the beads onto Cubo, who has to ambush away, as well as Deathbane. They still want this though. Twig's going to keep going.
Captain Twig being aggressive like the rest of his team. They're behind the tier 1 folks. They've got a tower to kill. That's exactly what they're going to do. 3 people deep. I'm pretty sure they can take this absolutely no problem, even with Lobster lurking in the waters.
I love that chase because they understood who they killed, who was backing, and who was going to come back. And even if they chased that little extra time, maybe they got a kill, maybe they didn't, but they had enough time to get the tower.
I would have
way.
liked Lobster though to go for Gold Fury with the boys on the other side of the map. Obviously, with the fact they've got there with Guan, and Freya, they could have actually done some good damage. I guess though, Gold Fury early on, as Freya, you're not going to do as much damage to it as a Hunter would.
Exactly,
No,
and you don't have the Devo gloves to be able to tank it by yourself as an on-her or any traditional hunter would. That's where the magical hunters, both Freya and Chronos, have issues with.
I love the weakening curse coming out from Trix. So, like we said, Afro is going to be horrifying because she's getting big. She hasn't died, and weakening. There you have it.
But that's one of the things about the Warriors that you can actually get into, because most of the Guardians that you see in the meta generally want Blink for the initial engages. Guan Yu on this God, he can cavalry charge in there if he needs to. And just walk up.
I love Cavalry Charge. I've mentioned it multiple times. I think it's one of the best initiates in the game because you hide around a corner and all of a sudden you're going lightning speed. Here you are, you're going to hit for a decent amount because you're building.
It's the highest base in game. After, if you hit everything on it, it's the highest base damage in the building game. But in mid lane right now, there's a lot of damage going off onto. Oh, that shield from Badger was huge!
Badger
shield.
with the ultimate shield and the blink to avoid the lobster roll. That ultimate was on point. That blink was absolutely necessary. Very good heads up play from, well, both sides, honestly, to not only try to get that kill, almost get it, and avoid the death itself. And because of that, Fnatic's going to be able to start this Gold's Fury.
Yep.
As
we'll
they
see.
do it, we're going to see how TRIG decides to come and play defense. It's 1 versus 3. Let's listen to TRIG.
I can hold into this shit. Oh, my weekend occurs up at 25. I would like to wait, actually.
Still have ult.
Go back.
They're gonna try and force.
They have no D-wards. They have no D-wards.
Down.
They have no
No,
D-wards.
Yeah. 10
They're
seconds
gonna
to
try
my
and
weekend
force
occurs.
us.
10
10 seconds on hold. 10 seconds
10
on
seconds on weekend occurs.
They started it.
They started.
Go, 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 go.
80%.
I don't have beats up.
The portal here for anyone.
I'm trying to zone now.
Go ahead.
Try to
It's
harass us
70%.
as well. Don't die, don't die, don't die.
I'm ulting in.
Weekend occurs up. Weekend occurs
Okay,
up.
my ult just came.
Yeah,
We can
okay,
go
back
in.
off and we'll get back off, back off. I got him slow, I got him slow.
Kill. Just kill him, just kill him.
Trying.
Get
Okay, I
outside.
gotta go back out.
Don't go.
I got my ult up.
Yeah, Frick got his low as well. Wheels is super low though.
Go Badger.
There. This guy.
Oh, that's so
Oh my god!
I'm home.
Really?
And that was our cursed voice. Listen in as we heard TRIG Esports try to play defense, but fantastic offense coming out from Fnatic. Gets them to Gold Fury and enough pressure that both Thor and the mid laner Aphrodite are going to take a look at this tower.
It's a rough situation for TRIG right now. You can hear in the comms that they're not having a good time.
Uh-huh.
It's been a rough weekend so far.
Yeah.
And they're in a game now where they're already down 1 game after the first one here, and it looks like this one's going the same way. I mean, Jeff, I don't like really doing these, but like when you're really behind in this situation, you're like, God, this weekend sucks. Like, I hate everything about it. How do you keep mentally focused?
It's really rough, but you have to take every game 1 game at a time. So, like, what's the gold difference? A couple of thousand?
Yeah, it's not monstrous. I mean,
that
it's
big.
2,000 experience and 3,000 gold.
Okay, but I mean, you have Nemesis coming on later
That's true.
online. You have Serqet and a weakening curse to stop healing. They have the tools to make this comeback. They just have to keep positive.
Maniac just being a bully. I love this.
Buddy
He's
block.
standing in the way of the portal. Won't let Zeros through the portal. That entire engagement.
Thank
The
God for
Sobek
cooldown
bullied
reduction.
him long enough for the portal cooldown to come back up.
That gets in your head.
Yeah.
Thank God for cooldown reduction now.
And
That's all I'm saying.
that's what we've been talking about Maniac this entire time. Going back to the matchup with TSM, where he's screaming, "Come on, Divios!" We saw the Sobek chase behind 2 towers and a Phoenix to get a kill, just to get in the head. That is Maniac's value on this team. I was talking to Scott Gandhi about in hockey, there are players that just fight. They're not good at hockey, they're just good at fighting. Maniac's a very good solo laner,
Mid lane
but he's
Lobster
good at getting in
talking
your
about
head.
that does manage to pull out away from danger, but the doves are ticking, and it's 1 dove away from death for Lobster. He will survive for now, but the boys in mid are going to get hit by a double tap again. Twig and Zeros are combining so well on this Afro 4 combo mid. It's working for them here, Jeff.
It's stun, Thor hammer, Afro kiss, Afro burst. That is chunks.
That is a very good combo. I mean, mid jungle are really characters that are going to link up a lot. When you think about two characters on a team that are going to hang out a lot, your mind always goes to the duo lane. It's literally the duo lane.
Talk about duo lane right now. We can see Thor going to the sky looking for the dunk hit. Will he find it?
Ooh, beautiful ultimate from Funball. Again, using those audio cues. Is it enough? The answer is no. Captain Twig claims another life, and TRIG Esports under the thumb right now of Fnatic. Another ultimate coming out from Badger. He wants more, and so does Twiggy. Here he is. That'll be the double kill for Thor.
But there's two fights going on here because the left-hand lane and the mid lane as well. Zany was trading with Maniac, but back on the X in the duo right now. Trix has to run for his life as Reels is linked to Zeros, and this is what we were talking about. If this can happen and they can peel for him, Badger will find himself a kill.
Sometimes those kills go the way of the support. Are you grinning, or are you saying sorry?
Love them. Love them.
Especially Season 2, eh?
Yep. Love support kills.
Very difficult to come by these days for a support player. So whenever you can pick up those kills, it's definitely going to help you out, keep you in the game.
1 through 3, sweet spot. I mean, if you're at 5, 6, that's way too much. But 1 through 3, very needed.
Yeah, so as a support, as we see the Fire Giant started up by Fnatic, looks like they're going to fall back, health a little bit too low. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do the dance with Zelia just so close. Are you trying to get 3 kills?
No.
Just as they come?
Yeah, just as they come. You don't actively look for it, but
Right.
you know, if it presents itself and it's not, you know, someone needs it, it's okay.
DTA. Don't trust anybody. Like, if that guy needs to die, just punch him in the mouth, right? That's the rule.
Yeah.
DTA. Don't rely on that hunter to hit that last auto, because knowing your luck, he'll probably just get stunned the moment and the other guy will get away. DTA, guys. DTA.
Very, very good point there from Europe's own Hindu man. TRIG Esports versus Fnatic. This is the second game could be the deciding factor. About 5,000 gold separate these two teams. 10 kills to 4. Fnatic very, very much so in the lead. This is the beginning of where a team really asserts their dominance.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the funny thing is we were talking about Trig's late game in this composition, and we were like, well, it's going to be up to Fnatic to make things work with this Aphrodite, Jeff, and they're actually making it work, though.
Yeah. So you see, now that Afro has the big lead, and they haven't shut her down at all. I see them trying, but it's not working. You're going to see them consistently push and shove and just win poke wars because they can sustain way better than a Guan can.
Yeah, more than likely as well. Going forward, we can just check in with this Aphrodite as well. She's currently working. Looks like Rather Sleepiest is coming online at the moment as well here after.
Look how unsneaky that was. Reels wanted to sneak his way to the Gold Fury, but because he was tied to Zeros, everyone knows. The entire map knows. They see that pink jump rope, and you can't do anything secretive.
Now the cast of the God Fury is going to be started here. You can see the boys of Trig, though, very deep here. Guan Yu can be very late to the engagement because you can't zone a Guan as effectively as you can in the other games. So keep it out for the cavalry charge, but the God Fury is already down.
Ultimates come out from basically everybody. Reels is in the air. He's targeting off the screen, and Fnatic is going to follow up, but the Janus ult just a little bit too strong. There's going to be a good shield coming out from Zelia. Is it enough? He's got 4 members of Fnatic chasing him. One more time. What goes up must come down. Maniac's got a kill, but in the backline, Captain Twig looking to push people out, and all 5 members of Fnatic holding hands, looking for the mid lane.
The basin. Actually, no, Maniac's just teleported in. He's looking for the reach, but no, the charge break misses. Funball gets given a portal fantastically by Lobster, but Lobster's caught himself in a world of hurt. No worries, though, because he's zero, because he's got that amazing cooldown reduction.
Beads gives him the opportunity to be able to do that. He picks up a kill along the way as well, but Reels takes out the support. This can mean a lot for Fnatic. They have a lot of options. Zelia and Lobster are down. Trix Tank, Kivo, Fred, and Funball are still alive, so not quite the support, but Lobster, very big supporting part of this team.
You see Real Split pushing here on the left side of the map, and that was fantastic. That went uncontested because they put so much pressure in the mid lane, and I love what he did there.
So it's just, that's basically when you win a team fight, making sure you get an objective after it. Say your lines, boy, say your line. Go on, I'll let you say it.
It's the stuff after the stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You get the fight, you have to do something with that fight. As you said, takes out the lane.
Not only do you have to do stuff with the fight, but it's so important to put pressure in multiple areas. Okay, what are you going to stop? Something's going to go down. Which is it?
Because it looked like they were all basing there at first for the Fire Giant, but when Maniac came in, the game plan changed and they immediately realized what was going on.
That ward that Trix Tank walked over, not this one, the one in the mid lane. Fnatic has been doing this since they were SK Gaming at launch tournament. They put a ward in the mid lane, hold that thought, fight over Fire Giant. Here comes Badger, great initiation, no stun though.
Thor's
There's
going
gonna
up.
be some ultimates onto Maniac. Where will Captain Twig fall? Right there in the middle. Lands it, gets the Berserker Barrage, a lot of damage being dealt out, but Blue has spread out
Reels.
successfully. Real's not able to secure it, but someone will.
Twig should be able to chase it on. He's got speed buffer as well, even though the ambush. He'll jump to his hammer, look for the spin. The wall will come
my
out to stun him.
goodness.
He's not going to find the kill yet. He's stayed in tower range, but round the back comes the enemy team of Trig as they try and disengage too. The whoop only hits onto Badger, so he can't blink and continue the initiation. But Fnatic did the damage there anyway. They can start healing back up and go for the Fire Giant again.
True. Fnatic went so deep there. Twig
Yeah.
chasing, but shields and heals.
Trusting his team.
Trusting his
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference of the Curse Voice SPL and your ranked matches. It's the entire difference. In ranked, you're an idiot for diving that far. In a group team fight, in an SPL situation, that is a great play. You're pushing them out. You're ensuring that the enemy team has to go to base. Your team will help you, and just like that, you get Fire Giant uncontested.
Well, Fnatic now with this Fire Giant available, the tier 2 tower in the right falls. Only one tier 2 tower remaining, and these Phoenixes as they look for aggression onto Trick. So he'll just have to back away, wait for his team. Because at the moment, it looks like Trick could go home without winning a single game at this LAN.
Definitely 0-4 at the moment. They lost 3 games in a row to AFK Gaming. They dropped the first game of the series to Fnatic, and Fnatic definitely in the driver's seat as we take a look at the graphs right now. Fnatic is up by a whole bunch of kills, make that 13,000 experience and 13,000 gold. They like to keep their lead both symmetrical.
Unlucky for some, but at the moment, will it be lucky enough for Fnatic to close this one out and take 3rd position? 13-5 as well. Actually got 13 kills as well. 13. I didn't even notice the kills part of that one as well at the moment.
I love the Thor slash on 505. Yeah, I died 7 times yesterday. 0 today.
That's how we roll. It's always a good thing though, Jeff. When you go down, you don't have a good game on a god. You come back the next day, play the same god again. Like, I knew I could play this god.
Feels great. I practiced this. This is how I play this guy.
Yeah.
So this is how it's done. Can we go back a day now and do this again?
Yeah, I want to show your best right there. TRIG Esports really on the back foot, trying to play a little bit of defense as the two teams sort of recuperate. Fnatic has gone back and purchased, and now they're located on the left-hand side of the map. Gold Fury's down, so nothing for them to take right away, but Captain Twig pushing by himself, it looks like.
Yeah, by mid lane
Maniac. No
going to be
surprise there.
meeting Cuvo there as well. But Cuvo's going to get a pull from his good boy, Lobster. Lobster's really useful with those pills, actually giving them to the team as well, which is something some of the analysts don't do as much as we'd like to see. Mainly because most people don't realize they could go through them themselves.
So I like the aggression here coming up from Fnatic. They're pushing up all the lanes, which is exactly what you want to do when you're in this spot. You want pressure everywhere. I think it was a little bit early because Reels wasn't there, but they didn't get contested. They really can't get punished.
4 members on the left-hand side of your minimap. Reels in the middle. This is what Jeff Hindler was talking about. Listen to the world champion. He knows what he's talking about, and Fnatic is doing exactly that. TRIG Esports is going to mount their entire defense on the left-hand side. Depending on how this fight will go, well, it's already started. Maniac gets a kill. He's forced out, but Reels comes along the backside. Cutting through butter is what he said, and he's going to continue. 1, 2, 3. That's that flash we were talking about,
the ult
folks.
there instead of going into the Phoenix. That was a beautiful ult.
Yep.
Really good ult in the end, and now with that, Fnatic get a deicide. This looks like this is the game. The 3rd, 4th place matchup is coming to an end. Fnatic are going to take this one. They finished 2nd in the SPL, but now it's Trig. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board and work out exactly what went wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are your victors. Fnatic will take home the 3rd place trophy here at our spring finals presented by Curse of Voice. Fantastic play for the orange and black. You can see those are the 2 hunters. Reels on your left-hand side, Funball on your right. A little bit of banter going back and forth. Don't know what they're saying exactly, but
it's always banter, but like, yeah, how'd you like losing again? Yeah.
Look
we're
how
the best.
confident they are, surrounded by hi-rez Dan, the local office samurai here at hi-rez Studios. Captain Twig, very, very confident as well. Let's talk to him and Scott Gandhi right now as they take the win.
Which one am I looking at? Thank you very much, Dad. I'm here with Captain Twig. Twig, you finished 3rd. How you feeling, man?
Really happy with today's performance. Yesterday, not so much, but we at least gave TSM some good games.
Now, how are you able to manage to come back after yesterday? I mean, it was a very disappointing finish. You guys lost 3-2. It was very close games. What was the mentality like going into today?
Just put our heads together and thought, what could we best do now, you know? Move on, try to get as good as we can with third place.
Now, a lot of people had some questions in the offseason saying what you were going to do going from the mid lane into the jungle. How's the jungle feel on lane?
It's a lot of fun, yeah. I've still got a lot to learn, but from a mid perspective, I understand like a bit more what needs pressuring in the jungle now, so I'm enjoying it.
Cool. Now, the lane's done. You're pretty much there. What are you guys going to work on going into the next split?
Same old, just improving, new gods, god pools, just making sure we play at our best.
Now, I've been asking everyone this the entire day. Finals prediction. AFK taking on TSM. What's the series score? Who takes it?
3-0 TSM.
Wow. I am on the complete opposite fence. How dare you? Back to you, Dot.
Fantastic stuff coming out from the mid laner turned jungler for Fnatic. Takes that win 6-0-9. Definitely a different look than the 0-7-2 we saw yesterday.
It was.
And he's very, very excited about the team that beat him. He says that Team Solo Mid will go.
Right. You ask the EU players anything, they'll both be saying 3-0 the other team, because the team they lost to, because they want to make sure that they didn't lose really badly. Like, Trigger, like, oh, please, AFK 3-0 TSM so we don't look so bad. You know, that's what the mentality is from the pros overall.
Definitely very exciting, and it's taken a while to get to this point, but we're going to take a look at the first blood of this second match here of our third place consolation match. So why don't we take a look right away, and it's none other than Captain Twig himself. What goes up must come down, ladies and gentlemen. Lands right underneath the tower. No fear. And as Jeff Hindless said in the cast itself, the perfect Thor combo.
It was beautiful. Hammer, stun, and then Berserker Barrage.
Beautiful stuff. That's textbook, folks. And sometimes that's all you need. Let's get some more detailed analysis from our very own Danny Gandhi. How you doing?
Good. I just ran from the stage here. I'm with Les. You're so much taller. Like, when I look at the program feed, it looks awful. You're a giant.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lasses, we just watched Fnatic take it 2-0. Were you surprised at all?
Actually, yes. Both teams played really well. They have great players. But, you know, Fnatic also, man, they're just awesome. They got Captain Twig recently in the jungle. You know, they also got Reels, who just performs outstanding on land. And, you know, ADC is hard, and what else can you expect?
You've been on this ADC hard bandwagon all weekend long, but tell me a little bit about what you thought about Reels throughout this entire weekend.
He probably hit at least 80+% of his auto attacks, man, and, you know, that's key as a hunter. And on a serious note for once, you know, really well played by Reels, and just his position was great, and just smart plays all around.
Yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the map control here. The mid Harpies going to TRIG Esports 71%. Which makes no sense out of everything else we're seeing. Normally, if you control the mid-Harpies, you win the game. Lasses, is that shocking to you?
It is a little shocking, actually, because 71%, holy crap, you know, but...
Yeah, that's a big number.
I'd also like to point out, I guess the Guan pick, all right?
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of warrior supports because they really fall off late game. Whereas you got Geb or you got Bacchus or you got, you know, whoever else in, you know, support role, they're going to pump out that damage late game as well as be able to protect everybody, like, very well.
But yesterday we saw the opposite, right? We saw Guan Yu, since he was ahead, he was able to not carry the game, but he was able to shred through the gap. You think that was the mentality going into today?
Possibly, but, you know, like, if you don't win the early game really hard with Guan, you're not going to go hard into the late game, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, no shocker here. The player of the game is going to be Captain Twig, the man on your screen right now, 6-0-9 as Thor jungle. Lasses, you played a bunch of Thor. What did you think of his play?
You know, it was very good, and there's nothing more fun than double tapping a hammer on two people at the same time.
Yep. You can just see here, he gets it started, Berserker Barrage, and honestly, he did this all the time. He focused a lot on the solo lane, which is something we're not used to seeing a lot out of EU.
No, not at all. But, you know, I will add one thing. It's nice to see an EU team win, and going forward, hopefully you see some NA.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to, right?
Absolutely.
That's actually exactly how it'll work out, Lasses.
Shout-outs to Hindu, man.
Yeah, he actually he owes me money because I said they wouldn't win more than 4 games, including Conso, and they didn't. So Twig, as you can see here, the Geb shield. Now, this is something that, looking at the team comp, we all said, wow, if they get the late game, they are going to be very hard to deal with. They had a bunch of sustained losses.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's kind of funny. A comment that Zapman dropped during the game was, every single person on that team has about 3 lives. You got the Afro and the Geb, man, and son of a gun.
Dude, it's the worst feeling when you just see him get healed up and then a Geb shield goes on him.
Yeah.
How do you handle it? How do you handle that? Like an Undying Love hits when you're getting ready to go. Doesn't that not set you on tilt, like instantly?
I mean, it's kind of irritating when you have like burst gods and you're just trying to blow somebody up. Next thing you know, boom, right back to full. And then if you're playing an ADC, reels, healing back up to full with the lifesteal, then the Afro, then the Geb, and then rinse and repeat, man.
Well, thank you very much, Lasses. Guys, we're going to hop to a quick break. When we come back, we will reveal the new map. Stay tuned.
When the time comes, be ready, don't you hesitate. There's nobody left in the world who could ever shake my faith.